Welcome to the AJ Sports Show. Today, I'll discuss the previous weeks of college football in the NFL and the current state of the league championship series that MLB is on. As I'm recording this, Cal Raleigh literally just hit a home run. Unfortunately, it ain't gonna matter because the Mariners are down 12-4 right now, which will make the series 2-1 in Seattle's favor still. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. First, let's discuss college football's Week 7. Alright, the first big matchup of the week was South Florida and North Texas. North Texas came out of this game 5-0. And at least for a bit, North Texas was actually up 21-14, and then floodgates opened. And the South Florida just ran amok. The final score ended up being 63-36. South Florida absolutely destroyed North Texas in the second half. It was domination. Washington beat Rutgers 38-19. Washington improves to 5-1. Alright, big games. Let's talk about them. Oklahoma, Texas. John Mateer's first game back. There was a lot of questions why he was even going to start. And those questions only got even more validated. John Mateer did not play well. He threw 3 picks. He just wasn't in command. The running game went nowhere. The team averaged 1.6 yards per carry. Torrey Blaylock got stuffed all day long. Texas offense wasn't amazing, but when you have the opposing team's offense literally couldn't do anything and kept turning the ball over against another team's weak offense but wasn't turning the ball over, you have Texas winning 23-6. And Oklahoma not looking good. They have South Carolina next. That's a winnable game. And then the next 5 games, I only see this team losing the majority of these games because let's take a look what they got. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. They're going to lose the majority of those games. It's just inevitable. So, any optimism I had is all gone. It's now pure pessimism as a Sooner fan. And unfortunately, that's been the trend over the last couple of years. And I don't see that trend stopping. Purdue, you still are years away of being anything. Y'all lost to Minnesota 27-20. Y'all had a lead going to the fourth quarter. Just no. Just no. You're still years away. Ohio State beat Illinois 34-16. Indiana, they beat Oregon 30-20. They beat Oregon at Eugene. IU is ranked 3rd now. They're legit national title contenders. Yeah. Get ready. Get ready, rest of Big Ten. Because you might see 12-0 Indiana, 12-0 Ohio State, the Big Ten Championship. You might see that. Ole Miss barely won against Washington State 24-21. A&M beats Florida 34-17. Alabama beats 27-24 because Alabama doesn't like making things fun. That's just what they do. They've been doing this for about 20 years now. Texas Tech won on another blowout. They destroyed Kansas 42-17. Georgia beat Auburn 20-10, but Georgia looked terrible. LSU beat South Carolina 20-10. Tennessee beat Arkansas 34-31. Georgia Tech still is undefeated. They're still 6-0. They beat Virginia Tech 35-20. USC blows out Michigan. Notre Dame blows out NC State. BYU won in overtime. Double OT actually over Arizona 33-27. BYU 6-0. Utah just annihilates Arizona State 42-10. It was bad. Colorado beats Iowa State 24-17. Colorado's dreams of a Big 12 title is slowly going down the drain. UCLA, they won their 2nd straight game. They beat Michigan State in convincing fashion 38-13. Florida State loses to Pitt 34-31. Florida State's defense is officially garbage. It doesn't matter how many points you score. If your defense gives up 34 points per game, it's hard to win. SMU blows out Stanford. Cincy's 5-1. They beat UCF. Houston's 5-1. They beat a terrible OK State team. Northwestern upsets Penn State 22-21. So 2 straight embarrassing losses, and as a result, James Franklin got fired. This was kind of the Mark Richt kind of decision where, yes, you were winning 9 to 10 games practically every single year, but if you don't take that next step at some point, the fan base will turn on you. And that's exactly what happened to James Franklin. 2 straight horrible losses, season-ending injury for Drew Aller, and he got canned as head coach. Nebraska's 5-1. They beat Maryland 34-31. Kansas State is winning games, but it's too late. Oregon State is 0-7. They're just atrocious. Iowa, for a week, found an offense. They beat Wisconsin 37-30. I think it's time for Wisconsin to cut ties with Luke Fickell. It was a great idea to hire him. Not a good idea to have him stick around. Boston College, you are garbage. You got blown out by Clemson. San Diego State's 5-1. And that is it for college football's Week 7. So, some key matchups for this week of Week 8. Your Friday games are actually interesting. Louisville, Miami, Nebraska, Minnesota. Some other big games on Saturday weekend. LSU and Vandy at Nashville. That's a pretty pivotal game. Ole Miss and Georgia. That's a big matchup to determine who goes to the SEC championship game. Texas Tech goes to Tempe to face Arizona State. Tennessee and Alabama play tonight. USC and Notre Dame. You also have Utah and BYU, the Holy War. I believe that's what it's called, the rivalry. Let me double check. I believe that is the rivalry. The Holy War. That's what the rivalry between BYU and Utah is called, the Holy War. That's actually going to be an interesting game. I guess I'll go BYU because it's at LaVelle Edwards Stadium. As I'm recording this, Toronto hits another home run. Now it's 13-4. Yeah, the Mariners pitching staff got blown up today. So that is your matchups for the college football's Week 8. All right, NFL's Week 6. No, I'm not looking at college basketball scores. We're about a month away for that. All right. Thursday nighter, Eagles and Giants. You thought the Eagles would get it together? Nope. The Eagles got wrecked. 34-17. Something is going on in that locker room. There's got to be a massive kind of ego, kind of power struggles within the players, coaching staffs. It's got to be a reason because it's bad. I mean, yeah, you can kind of write that all as a Denver losses. You know what? You've been flirting with fire for too long. You could get burnt. But losing to the Giants haven't played this good in years. And you lost to them. Eagles, you better get it together because this could travel the 2023 road of mass collapsing. Colts and Cardinals, this game was a shootout. Jonathan Taylor had a killer game. Daniel Jones played solid. Josh Downs continues to be the third down money receiver. Tyler Warren is one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And they were able to outgun the Cardinals to win 31-27. The problems for the Colts, they don't have a secondary. Mike Hilton was out. Tre'Davious Ward got a concussion in warm-ups. Still no Kenny Moore. So, yeah, you were down to your entirely second, third string corners. So, Jacoby Brissett actually flew for 300 yards. I mean, Zay Jones and Trey McBride absolutely ran amok against that defense. But the Colts offense was able to prevail at the end. And the defense was able to get that fourth down stop. And the Colts improved to 5-1. Oh, the London game, Broncos and Jets. I'm not going to discuss much of this. I shouldn't have to. The point is, Jets could not offense at all. Justin Fields was absolutely horrendous. The running game was horrendous. The Broncos' offense wasn't any better, but at least their offense is a tiny bit better than the Jets. It was probably the worst game so far of this 2025 season. It was bad. But the Broncos improved to 4-2. But, Broncos, y'all don't look good. You do not look good. Chargers and Dolphins. This game actually started mostly in Miami's favor. And then LA had a huge third quarter where they scored 2 touchdowns. So at one point in this game, they were up 26-13, but Miami came back. They scored on their back-to-back drives, so they held a 1-point lead. But the Dolphins defense do Dolphins defense things, crumble late, and the Chargers were able to kick what was eventually the game-winning field goal, and they won 29-27. The problem for the Dolphins is any positives they have is undone by their defense. Yes, Devon Achane has been really good, but Tua keeps throwing picks at the worst possible time, and that defense, I'm going to say it again, is terrible. Chargers played solid. Their offense was good. Herbert played well. This Kamani Vidal guy, who is like their third straight running back, but now is the starter because Harris is gone for the year. Hampton's out for a while. And he played good. 18 carries, 124 yards, averaging almost 7 yards per carry. That's a very good showing. And obviously the Chargers have weapons like Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen. No Quinton Johnston, but Ronnie Gaston had a solid day. And as that, the Chargers, they improved to 4-2. Patriots, they're actually leading the AFC East right now. They beat the Saints 25-19. Drake May's actually looked good this year. Steelers beat the Browns 23-9. The Browns have 0 offense. The Cowboys have 0 defense. Dak Prescott's been playing very well this season. George Pickens is not crashing out or just becoming a total cancer. He's actually been playing really well. But Cowboys defense has its flaws. Bryce Young played pretty well. Rico Dowdle has 2 straight games where he just absolutely dominated. I mean, Rico Dowdle, I think he had like over 230 yards of total offense. 183 on the ground, 56 in the receiving. He absolutely dominated. And Carolina Panthers won on a last-second field goal by Ryan Fitzgerald. And Panthers, they're 3-3. They're somewhat getting better. The Jaguars, after their big win over the Chiefs last week, couldn't repeat any of that kind of performance. They lost the Seahawks 20-12. Sam Darnold still looking good. Thought last year was going to be a fluke. Right now, that's not the case. Sam Darnold's actually played very well. Rams beat the Ravens 17-3. Ravens are so in the hole right now that they're chucking out Tyler Huntley out there. Yes, Tyler Huntley. The Ravens defense, funny enough, plays their best game of the season, and it still was never going to matter. They need Lamar back bad because the Ravens are 1-5. Remember before the season started, we had them as potential Super Bowl contenders. They had the best roster on paper. Sometimes the teams have the best roster on paper. They sometimes tend to fall apart. And that is what's going on in Baltimore. Raiders beat the Titans 20-10. There's absolutely nothing to discuss. The only thing that needs to be discussed is Brian Callahan is the first head coach to get fired in 2025 in the NFL season. Why was Brian Callahan even brought back for a second year? I don't know. He was part of Zach Taylor's coaching tree, which, why does Zach Taylor even have a coaching tree? Also, Brian's the son of Bill Callahan. Yeah, the Raiders head coach in 2002. After that season, Bill Callahan became a total cancer. So he got fired in Raiders, didn't do good in Nebraska. I think he's actually an assistant in Tennessee. I don't know why Brian Callahan was even hired as a NFL head coach. And he is one of the worst head coaches over the last 20 years. The only other ones I can think are worse are Nathaniel Hackett, Urban Meyer, and Bobby Petrino. Yeah, he's in that class of people. So Titans, your season was over before it even started. And it just only confirms it. Packers, they beat the Bengals 27-18. Their offense looked solid. Not the most impressive, but it was decent. And the Bengals, Joe Flacco played okay, but that was not going to be enough. And the Packers, they're 3-1-1, so they're alright, but they haven't been really that much good after the win over the Commanders. The Packers really needs to start winning games convincingly to put them back as Super Bowl contenders. Buccaneers and 49ers, both of these teams are absolutely injured to hell. Both of these teams really don't even have their starting wide receivers. The Niners are without Ayuk still. They're without Jawan Jennings. And the Buccaneers, they're without Mike Evans. Chris Godwin has yet to return. And Ibuka had an injury. He had a hamstring injury early in the game. So your best wide receivers today were Cameron Johnson and Kendrick Bourne. Fortunately for the Bucs, Baker has played his best football of his career at this point. And Tampa Bay wins 30-19. Baker might be a front-runner early MVP candidate as of right now. That's how odd this season is. All right, on the Sunday night, Chiefs and the Lions. I said the Lions would win this game, but that did not happen. The Chiefs are kind of finding their form again. Mahomes played well. The running game was decent. Kelsey played his best game in a while. Hollywood Brown caught 2 touchdowns. And the Lions' offense just couldn't exactly get much traction. They were kind of slowed down by the Chiefs' defense. And then the Lions already were down a bunch of guys in the secondary. Brian Branch makes a fool out of himself trying to start a fight with Juju Smith-Schuster. He gets himself ejected. And now he's suspended for the game. So, Lions secondary is destroyed as of this moment. All right, 2 Monday night games. Another Monday night doubleheader. Bills and the Falcons. The Falcons absolutely just... the score is not going to indicate it, but the Falcons grossly outplayed the Bills. 24-14. Penix played decent. Drake London dominated that secondary. And then Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, they might be the best 1-2 running back punch in the NFL right now. So the Falcons can beat you in a lot of ways, and their defense has massively improved. So the Falcons could be potential playoff contenders. As for Buffalo, they got to figure something out because second straight game that they have not played good at all. And they really haven't even played up to their potential all season. And then your second one, the Commanders and the Bears. This game actually was a pretty good one. The Bears were actually up most of the game, and then Commanders would answer. And then a blocked field goal by the Bears. Then the Commanders take an 8-point lead. But the Bears answered rather quickly with DeAndre Swift scoring. And then Washington had a missed play on a handoff. They fumbled late. Bears drove down the field to set up a game-winning field goal by an ex-49er, Jake Moody. And Moody was able to nail the game-winning field goal. And the Bears, after the disastrous first 2 games of the season, they have rebounded. They're 3-2 right now. And we'll see how the Bears do for the rest of this season, but so far they're doing a not too bad job. They have done a solid job recovering. All right, week 7. My predictions last week weren't all that impressive, but let's see. Bengals and Steelers. This has the potential to be a trap game for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has these kind of games every single year where they'll run into a not-so-good team. Usually they do this on Thursday nights too, so I'm actually going to pick the Bengals. Even though this team is practically dead at this point, the Steelers, they have a tendency to let up in these kind of games. Steelers, every single year, they'll fall into a trap game. They at least do it twice. I think they do it this week. Your morning game, Rams and Jaguars. I'm actually going to go with the Rams here. The Jaguars, they played decent, but they haven't played all that great. And the Rams, they're a really good team. So I think the Rams win that one. Colts and Chargers. I think Chargers win simply because the Colts can never win in SoFi Stadium. And I don't think that's going to change. And also, the Chargers are still reasonably a good team. And even though the Chargers are starting backups in the offensive line, the Colts don't have much of a pass rush. So, I think the Chargers win. Saints, Bears, I think Bears win. The Saints, they're not good. Dolphins to the Browns. Do I even want to preview this game? I'm going to say the Dolphins win because the Browns don't have an offense. Patriots, Titans. Patriots are winning because the Titans like to kill their quarterbacks. Raiders and Chiefs. Chiefs win easily. Eagles and Vikings. I think the Eagles will put it together for at least a week and they'll beat the Vikings. Panthers, Jets. I think Panthers win because the Jets. Aaron Glenn might get fired after his first year. Because right now his tough guy routine isn't going too great. And when you put up a tough guy routine and you're 0-6, it looks phony. And yeah, not good in New York. And by the way, Justin Fields, want to continue starting him, even though he has proved nothing. He only had one good game all season. Jets going to do Jets things. That's what they do. Giants and Broncos. I think the Broncos win that one. Although the Giants, they're getting a tiny bit better, but not better enough. Commanders and Cowboys. I think Commanders, they get their revenge. I think they win that game. Packers and Cardinals. I think Packers win. Falcons and 49ers Sunday night. It's actually an interesting game. I just think the Niners are too battered. Now Fred Warner's out for the rest of the year. The Falcons are going to do a similar thing they did against the Bills. Run football with Robinson and Algier. And Penix will just... Or Penix. I've seen too many Michael Penix memes. Okay? Forgive me on that one. Plus, it's kind of funny, let's be honest. It's funny. I think the Falcons win over the Niners. Another Monday night doubleheader. Bucks and Lions. That's actually a very good game. Very enticing game to watch. I'm going to go with the Lions. I think the Bucks are just a little bit too battered to take advantage of the Lions' battered secondary. So I believe the Lions will win that one. Texans and the Seahawks. The Texans just hasn't impressed me. So I think Seattle wins. Seattle wins. And, alright, quick review of baseball. Alright. Last time I stopped, the league division series was over. Or was like in the middle of things. Now it's over. So here's your quick little recap. Blue Jays just dominated the Yankees. They won the series 3-1. Cubs and Brewers went to a Game 5 where Brewers outlasted the Cubs because the Cubs just don't have enough. I think I already pointed out that the Dodgers, let's just say they won easily. And that final play for the Phillies, that was a nightmare. So the Phillies, I don't know how much longer their contender window is going to last. But it ain't lasting too long. And the Mariners, they managed to beat the Tigers in a Game 5 with a Jorge Polanco walk-off hit. So as for the championship series, the Dodgers are up 2-0 because the Brewers have not hit against Dodgers pitching at all. Blake Snell pitched an absolute gem, and then Yamamoto pitched a gem. I don't expect that to change. I think the Dodgers at this point has this series locked up. Brewers bats are just too cold, and they're just not reliable. Blue Jays actually beat the Mariners. They beat the Mariners 13-4. So the series is 2-1. I still think Seattle will take this series, I think Seattle just has a little bit better pitching than the Blue Jays, and I think the Mariners will get it together again, and I believe they'll win. So that's kind of my World Series prediction. I'm predicting Dodgers and Mariners. And Dodgers is going to win because let's be honest, that's how it's going to go. Want more optimism? Can't really give it much to you. I think we're going to see LA go back to back, and they're going to be the new villains of Major League Baseball. Yeah, that's how it's going to go. So that'll wrap up this episode. I'll see y'all next week, and thanks for watching.